Still trying to work with this new studio, trying to get all this flashing out of the way. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe it'll calm down in a minute. But today I think we're going to work on motivation. Now, y'all remember correctly on the Possum versus Raccoon video, it was motivation was what got everything to moving. Now here you can tell that raccoon is back up and he is well motivated on that ham bone. Now he's going to go ahead and just show you what rip and tear looks like. Now, and if you remember correctly also, when we got poor old Legend out there, old Legend, she didn't exactly know, what motivation was. She didn't really motivate. See, she acted like, well, if it's free, I'll eat it. Now, she eat a little bit of it and she just dropped off. She just soon eat leaves or whatever. But what I thought I would try to do on this one is on pulling hard, the Legend video. We saw persistence like you wouldn't believe over chicken legs. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take me 2 drumsticks. I found them back in the freezer, didn't even know I had them. But I'm going to take those 2 drumsticks and I'm going to fasten them onto a steel cable. And I'm going to let them hang. Just about the same way I did that ham bone. And we'll see what's going to happen on that. Now, we've got it hanging out here, and as you can tell, when that possum sees it, look what goes on here. This right here is a possum that is dead serious on eating it. Now, I mean rip and tear, stand up and snatch, everything in the world. Look at the size of that possum. And look at the motivation. What we have here is a possum that the Clampets and the Darlings would probably fight each other for. And, Ma and Pa Kettle, they would probably go and clean out the dag-blasted wash bucket to cook him. But we go ahead and, he's tearing the ground apart. Look at him. When he gets through tearing that ground apart like that, it looks like a rotary tiller went through it. And most of the ticks declared it a disaster area. Now, what we just witnessed is what I call a chicken motivated possum, which is a totally different possum from a possum that you're trying to feed a ham bone to. Now, also something else I ran into while we were on this set here was that when I first looked at it, well, you can see him right up here coming out. First thing I thought was I wanted to scream rat. And when it came on out, I realized it was a little black possum. Now, a nervous little black possum, as you can tell. Now, what gets me is that he bows around down there in the leaves and he finds him a bone or a stick or something there and chews on it. But what gets me over it is that he knows where the chicken was at. Now, just how do you explain that? That little fella knew that chicken had been on that wire. And when he got through eating and everything, he went on. And then come the second little possum, about the same age. And what we saw then really surprised me was that if you look down there sort of around the ribs on that little possum, you're going to see, I guess, 3 or 4 fang marks where something has literally bit into that little possum there and tried to make a meal of it. But I have seen a lot of good dogs bite into a possum and suddenly not interested. There's something about that possum that they do not like. But Also, that little possum moves around fine, and he has to check the wire out to see if that chicken's there. But if you notice in, when he reached up, touched that wire, oh, them were good tasting hands. I don't know how many fingers he had left, but boy, he went after them fingers. Now, this next little segment we're going to go into is kind of, I don't know if a possum and a raccoon has a sense of humor or not. But this next segment, as you can tell here, possum's out feeding around, and he just simply keeps looking something over here on the right hand side, and then all of a sudden he's going to just simply boogie out of there. Now that right there would get your curiosity up a little bit. I mean, but then about 5 minutes later, a raccoon comes out there. And what does this raccoon do? He's sitting there eating along. He's eating him some corn because he don't really care much about that chicken. But all of a sudden now, he's going to think he hears something off to the right. And then there you go. 4-wheel drive, full maximum power, he's out of there. Now, if you don't think that I didn't sit there and review the next 20, because I think there's about 105 of these little videos that I got off at that night. If you don't think I didn't sit there rest of that night watching those videos like this, I knew there had to be a bull of the woods or something coming in. Because I've done seen a possum leave, and I've done seen a raccoon like he was scared to death leave. So I sat there, and I'm watching. And I know sooner or later, he's going to come out. And you know something? I never saw anything. And my wife stuck her head in the door. She says, "What have you been in here so long for?" I said, "I told her." And she said, "You know, your problem might be that you're dealing with superior intellect." Well, that got me thinking. I bet you instead of looking over here on the right for some bull of the woods to come out, I should have figured on something down here on the left, like a darned old possum and raccoon sitting on a stump eating frog legs. And they're saying to each other, you know, I bet you he sets that camera up for the next 2 weeks down there trying to figure out what scares us. But I can't stand it. They're right. I'm going to set it up down there. So here we have, I've shown you how to motivate a possum. Now this is a very important course here, and you don't bother writing me anything because I won't be giving you any graduation slips or anything saying that you now know how to motivate a possum. So I hope you enjoyed it. We're still playing with this new studio. And in case you didn't notice, the camouflage hat got voted out. So I'm just wearing an old hat had laying around, solid color. Everybody said it would do fine. So y'all take care. I hope you enjoyed it.